Hello everyone, it's JL here again, and today I want to show you the latest bot that I've been working on for my unofficial MoonRollers solo mode. Last time I showed a bot that I call the Thief Bot, which was designed to basically kind of be a thorn in your side, go in, steal contracts when it can, get in, get out quickly. Well, this next bot might seem kind of similar, but it isn't. Um, I'm actually calling it the Haste Bot, as you can see. And the main idea behind this one is it will try to um, win as quickly as possible. The Thief Bot didn't have a particular time frame as far as when it would or how quickly it would try to win or how slowly it would play. As long as its objectives were met, it would just continue. But this one, as you can see, it has the default rule that it will first play to a contract that will move it towards achieving a three of the same faction victory. So it's going to try to get three of the same color as quickly as possible in and out and in the game. Its fallback directive, if it can't fulfill its default command, it will then play to the contract with the fewest open requirements. Once again, it will attempt to, you know, gain contracts so that it can have more options to achieve that three of the same faction victory. When it plays to a contract in that middle row, you see that it will commit to the lowest prestige task first. So it's going to work from the bottom up, trying to satisfy as many of these requirements as it can during its turn. And as such, it will actually risk busting if its dice pool is large enough. So if it, let's say the next highest prestige threshold is 3, um, in order to satisfy the requirement. And if it has at least 3 dice, it will continue. It will assume that it's going to, you know, roll with enough luck to get what it needs. So it will bust if you know, more than likely this bot does bust. And it's basically the whole, um, saying haste makes waste. So this bot tries to play quick and it does make mistakes. Its override ability, again, this is the ability that the bots play rather than playing with a recruited crew member ability. If you're using this bot, you don't, or one of my bots, you don't have to keep track of the recruited member abilities that it has in its play area. Instead, the bots each have their own override ability that they will always use, irrespective of who they've recruited. So this bot's override ability, if it rolls 2 wild dice, it will generate an extra wild die from the supply for the next roll. And this verbiage is a little weird. I've actually fixed it, and I just haven't changed the imported the new card. But basically, if it rolls 2 wilds, it will be able to grab a wild from the supply and kind of have it locked for the next roll. And then as you see the 3 colors, when it's not sure of where it will play to, it will first play to a yellow card, then a purple, and then an orange. So pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and see how the Haste Bot plays. Of course, if you're not familiar with how MoonRollers plays, it's a pretty light, yet fun, push your luck, dice rolling game. I'll put a link in the description to an explainer video that Zach at Ivy Studios put together to explain the basic rules. So I won't go over it here. But suffice it, you'll probably get it if you watch as I play. Okay, I've already rolled but kind of messed up here because I didn't even set my play area. It's a 2-player game, so we're going to put out 4 contracts that myself and the bot will be vying for. Actually, let me redo these. One thing I always forget to do is re-roll or shuffle. So I want to go ahead and shuffle the deck. Let me group these together. Got them here. Okay. Let's get a new group of 4 cards. If you're a 2-player, you play with 4 cards. 3-player, 5. 4-player, 6 cards. So pretty simple. Okay, cool. So let's see. I have rolled a 2 wilds, a reactor shield, and thruster. Okay. Oops. Let me put that back. 2 wilds. This was the reactor. Yep. Okay. So, oops. Let me fix this. Okay, cool. So let's see. What do we have? We have. Let me get in just closer. If you roll exactly 1 damage, you may lock it as a wild. Okay, I dig that. If 2 or more damage, roll 2 supply dice and keep any that are wild. You know what? I kind of like this one, so let's go for this. So I rolled 1 of these. So I'm going to stake my claim. Roll. I'm now looking for those blue lightning bolts. I got a second one. As we see, it requires 2 to fill this, so I have fulfilled this. Okay. Now with this, let's see if I can get that thruster since it only needs 1. Ooh, close. But I do get a wild, so I will go ahead and just take this. That exclamation point means that I draw some hazard tokens, which can be worth bonus prestige points at the end of the game. But there's a risk involved. Not so much with this one, since they're the same. Shuffle these, and I'll keep this here. And with only having 2 left, chances are I'm going to bust, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. And save my progress on this card. Now I'm playing with the quick setup, so we each start with a crew member. So I have this green guy here, Ryle, and he has an ability, may lock each extra die symbol as 2 shields. So that would come in handy if I were going for that. Maybe in this case I could have rolled again going for shields, cause not only would a shield have worked or a wild, but also that extra die. So really I had 3 symbols that could have worked and been useful for getting shields, but I didn't want to go for it. Now the Haste Bot already has this yellow crew member Nella, and as we can see, we don't have a yellow one out, so it's default, will play to achieve a 3 of the same faction victory will not come into play. So it will next play to the contract with the fewest open requirements, which does happen to also be the one I'm working on since there are only 2 requirements left. So it's going to go for shields. Well, yeah. Although technically, this one, I won't count that as my roll. So with the exclamation point, technically the damage is a possible higher prestige than the shields. So there's an interpretive factor here that I'm going to have to work out later. Does it treat that hazard token or bonus prestige as part of its calculus. If not, then we would look here and we'd see it would want to go for a yellow task, purple, then orange task. So technically, it would want to go blaster first if we're treating those two as equal. I'm not, since again, realistically, that hazard sign gives more points. So we're going to, but I do need to think about that. So now we see we have 2 shields. Oops. I want to go ahead and grab you. Say that it's going for shields. That purple here, that means it has an extra die that I'm going to pull from the supply. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. And we're going to roll again with these 4. So it needs 1 more shield. This is cocked, so I'm not going to count it. I need a shield to continue or else it's bust. It busted since it didn't roll a shield. So this gets taken back. It gets nothing. And it is now back to me. Oops. Got a little wild in my grabbing there. Now I want to go ahead and complete this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knowing that if I roll an extra, that gives me 2 shields. A shield or an extra or a wild. So I got 1 shield. Good. I'm just all over the place with my mouse today. So we're going to go ahead and take that. I could use that wild also, but sometimes it's best to hold back to get the potential for extra dice. So I get an extra die. Keep rolling. I'm going to dedicate this one to it. And well, let's see. I might get some extra dice anyway. There's a bit of clarification on the rules that we need to get. If I had used that extra die and locked it as 2 shields, do I also get the benefit of the extra die or not? So that's always a question. So I get this one too. So the question now is, do I stop or do I continue? I only have 3 dice that I'm rolling unless I generate extra ones. One bad roll, though, will set me back, so I think I will stop. I'm going to chicken out. And again, with this being the card that has the fewest requirements, it's going to go for it. Okay. So it rolled 1 wild, which will allow it to begin fulfilling the requirement. It needs 2 more blasters. Or wild will do. And we're gonna take all these and do that again. That was a horrible roll on my part. Okay, we have another wild and an extra die. And then it's going to try and finish this card out, which it does. Now, once you fulfill a contract, your turn immediately ends. But we go ahead and resolve everything here, so I get this. So first off, we're going to look at the prestige earned. Haste Bot will get this. I earn 6 prestige because I have my cubes on these requirements that have a prestige value of 6. So we shall move me to 6. As we can see, the Haste Bot only gets 3. It also gets before I forget this, but I'm not going to flip it because you don't know your opponent's you know, hazard dice or bonus prestige pool until the end of the game. So that remains a secret to me. All I know is how many hazard chip or tokens they've pulled. I just don't know what's on the side of them. Now we're going to take these. I'm going to get this back. Haste Bot gets this. And now it has 2 crew members. So again, with its default, since we already have a orange one out, it will go to here first, irrespective of where I've gone, unless we pull a yellow, which I do believe it prefers. Or, yep. So it will go for this next. Now I know that. If I want to do anything about it, let's see. If you roll all wilds, gain 3 dice for your next roll. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Well, let's see. I have a green. We have a green down here. Let's see if I can jump ahead. I am winning. And let's see if I can win this. I'll go for Bill here. Get an extra die. I'm going to use thrusters. That's what I'm going for. So we're going to put it right here. Okay. Next, we're going to roll the 5 again, thanks to that extra die. I almost bust. Man, I'm horrible at rolling here. Fortunately, that gives me what I need. So I will have those 2. But with 4 dice, I think I can continue. I mean, these are all pretty low requirements for the prestige. Okay, so should I worry about that right now? You know what? I'm gonna lock shields simply because the thing I have right now says if I roll an extra, I can lock it in as 2 shields, and that will allow me to okay, doesn't matter. I rolled a wild. Have this. Oops, which means I need to grab these 2. Come on now. Let's see, what do I want to keep? It only has 1. So chances are it should be decent for me to take this. What you want to do is make sure you don't have a lot of those little triangles on the face of the hazard token here, because whoever has the most at the end of the game, basically they lose all bonus prestige, whereas the rest of the players can use that to up their point value or their prestige victory points. So that's why you kind of want to take them, but then also be hesitant, especially if you're getting a lot. It's kind of early days, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now again, Prestige Bot says it will play to achieve a 3 of the same faction victory. It has this one here. There is a yellow there. So that's where it's going to play to. I mean, sorry, not yellow, but an orange up there. And it will always says it will start with the commit to the lowest prestige task first, So what it could do with this wild, it could actually fulfill this thruster requirement, gain an extra hazard token, and it will continue. Let's see what it does next. Next would be the thruster. Excuse me, the reactor. So it's going to go ahead, and since it has 3 dice, but it only needs 1 more of the reactor symbols to satisfy the requirement, it will definitely continue rolling. It gains an extra die. And with this wild, it will satisfy this. Now, of course, for the next thing it needs 2, it has 3 dice. It will continue rolling. It will go for either one, looking at what it prefers, ignoring the prestige symbol there. It prefers orange, so it will actually just go ahead and we'll dedicate this orange. Now it only needs 1 more symbol. It has 2 dice, so it still has enough dice in its pool to satisfy. It will try, and it got it. Now, to fulfill this card, it needs to have it needs 2 shield resources, we'll say, dedicated to it. It only has 1 die, so obviously its die pool is too low, so it will stop and give it over to me. I can take that one, or I can finish out what I was working on. I guess I should if I want to be kind of mean about it. So I'll take it Phantom from him. Well, let's just go ahead and use my ability. I'm going to take this extra, and then as it says here, I can lock it as 2 shields. That is 2 shields. I will fulfill that. Let me in these 2. Gonna flip. He has 2. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and seed that back in. Maybe it'll grab it. I'm gonna keep the 1. And this is now I'll take this. Oh, I didn't change. So we have 2. So that moves me up to 8. He has 5. Haste Bot. And so that also moves Haste Bot to 8. So it is a tie game currently. Okay. So I will move this down here. Let's pull and see what we have next. Another green. Now that would be great for me if I can get these 2, because that would end the game. And then we would get to see how things land. Now Haste Bot, again, its second directive says play to the contract with the fewest open requirements. Since there isn't a yellow or orange contract available, it will default to its fallback. The one with the least open requirements is the one I was working on. So it's going to come in here and see if it can grab it. So turnabout might be a little bit of fair play. So it's going to go ahead and roll. It wants to go for reactors first. Okay, got that. I do not know why. Oops. This does not want to grab. And it gets an extra die. It's going to roll 5 more, so it definitely has enough. It's going to go for damage. It needs 2 damage. And unfortunately, it rolled, or fortunately for me, it rolled poorly. So it loses this right here. And this might open up for me to pull ahead and possibly win the game. We're going to roll 5. I'm going to see if I can finish out Bill. Let me get in a little closer. I will dedicate damage requirement. If I can do 1 more, I'd be confident, but we just saw what happened with the other one. Hey, I'm fine. 1 damage. May lock it as a wild. Okay, now we're good. This. Now let's see. We should be able to get. Hold on. Yep. It doesn't matter, so I'll go ahead and put this back. And I shall pull ahead. So this gives me 6, 7. That's going to put me to 15. It's 8. And I will take this. Now, since I have a second screen, I can put back one of these. I don't know if I have to, but I know I can every time you get another one. I only have 2. I'm not too worried. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. But I have to decide if I want to use Bill or Ryle's ability. So you may lock each extra dice 2 shields. I still think I prefer Ryle's to Bill, so I'm going to put Bill. I think I will put. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Okay. Close enough. I'm not going to worry about trying to stack it beautifully or anything. Okay, so we're going to keep Ryle's ability as the beginning. Now we're going to flip over 1 more card. An orange. Very cool, because Haste Bot will go for that. He's back, and then wow, I didn't notice that's all damage. Interesting. Okay, so it's gonna get at least 1. Let me re-roll this. It's very cocked. I didn't like that. 2. And it will start from the bottom up, so it will satisfy this, and it will go ahead and grab one of these. We'll continue with its 5. We'll gain an extra die. It will go ahead and dedicate the 2 over this. Okay. I'm just fighting with TTS today for some reason. Don't know why. So it's a override ability. If it rolls 2 or more wild, it will pull an extra wild from the supply. So this will, I'm going to put it on the card and I will rotate it to the wild side because it's for next one. It wants, oh, it gets an extra die. And then here, it technically satisfies this. With that wild up there, it has 4 dice, so it will continue. So this is probably where it's going to lose all progress. But we'll see. I might get lucky. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it gets this 2, 3. It needs either a wild or a damage die. Move these out of the way. Okay, either a wild or a damage to get this card. Let's see what it gets. Nope. So it's going to lose all progress. Leaving this green open for me over here. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here. Okay, let's see if I can get that. All shields. I get 2 extra dice. I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the 1. Which I do get. Now I have to be careful because chances are I could end up with too much hazard at the end. So in this, I'm going to keep the 2, but I will seed back with the 5. I think we saw a 5 last time, so just to make sure, I'm going to shuffle this bag a little bit. Let's continue on. I'm going to take this 1. Now, I'm going to read the rule as if I lock this as 2 shields, I can't use it to gain an extra die. I don't know if that's how the game is supposed to play, but I feel like that makes it a more interesting choice. So I'm going to lock this as 2 shields. Only get 1 extra die. Otherwise, that ability feels, way too powerful. If I can get an extra die and lock it as 2 shields, that's just... So I think that it's a more interesting choice of which one would I rather. There we go with the 3. That's cocked, showing 2 faces. I'm going to go ahead and boop. Okay. I will continue. I'm going to do the same thing, same choice. So rather than getting extra die, I'm going to lock it in as 2 shields, which will give me that. So now I have 5 dice to try to get 4 shields. Or do I stop here? Well, no, there's no reason, because I would start with 5 dice anyway. Next turn, so what's the point? And we got it. So I'm going to take these 2, lock them in as 4. So I'll get 6. Oh, nope. Sorry. 7, 9, 10. Wow. That's going to give me 25. I'm going to take this, which is my 3rd green, as we can see. I'm just going to go ahead and put it right here. Oops. Whatever. I have 3 greens. So I'm now triggered the end game. So playing stops. We look at the point total. Haste Bot has 8. I have 25. Now we look to see here. I have 3 hazard tokens. We'll see what Haste Bot has. Haste Bot has way more than 3. So it loses its. I keep mine. I'm already ahead, so any bonus would push me further ahead. So therefore, I have won this game. Now, I know it might look as though the bot is somewhat broken because the point disparity is pretty wide. Again, Haste Bot, had it gotten this last roll, it would have had an additional, 610. So that would have brought it to 18. And then if it had fewer of these, it could have possibly worked out that, if it had all ones here to my, in the 5, that would have been another 8, which would have brought it up to 26, and then I would have not had any bonus. And so therefore it could have won. It just, its luck wasn't with it. The other thing I'm beginning to think, and I'll show next game, is that MoonRollers might be, I don't want to say swingy, but could be more prone to these, pretty wide end scores in a 2-player game. So the next game I'm going to show, I'm going to bring back the first bot, which was Thief Bot. And I'm gonna try a 3-player game, myself against 2 bots, and then we're gonna see how it feels. First off, we're gonna see if, in fact, these 2 bots do play differently. They should, but we're gonna test it out, and then also see if the point spread is, closer with 3 players than with 2. My feelings it probably will be, but we'll see next time. Anyway, that's it. I've shown off my second bot. If you didn't see my first video, my plan is to design 6 bots in total to give as much variety as possible while also staying within the pre-existing, design framework. There are 6 crew members for each faction, so I figured 6 bots would make the most sense. So we'll continue showcasing and testing them out. And again, I'm on the Ivy Studios Discord and the MoonRollers channel. If you have any thoughts about what you're seeing, any comments you want to give, you can either leave it on this video or feel free to stop by and say hey in the MoonRollers Discord, or MoonRollers channel of the Ivy Studio Discord. I post there as Pedro. But you'll see because I'm posting about these bots, so it should be pretty obvious who I am. Anyway, thank you for checking out this video, and I hope to show you more soon. So take care.